Welcome everybody to the How to Hire a Co-op webinar sponsored by the Office of Alumni Relations. We are really excited to have Rebecca Webb, Co-op Coordinator of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering, here with us today to show us and to tell everyone how you can hire a co-op from your alma mater. A little bit about Rebecca before we begin. Rebecca Webb returned to Northeastern to join the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Co-op team in January 2017 and is working with both mechanical and industrial students. She holds an MA in higher education from Boston College, where she focused on career counseling. Previously, Rebecca had roles at Boston University and Boston College, working with employers and students, as well as working in industry at Liberty Mutual Insurance. Rebecca is passionate about helping students identify their career interests and believes that the experiential learning gained through co-op is incredibly helpful in this process. We're really excited to have her, and take it away, Rebecca.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Again, I'm Rebecca. I'm a co-op coordinator with the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering team. So my perspective is from this team, but a lot of things I'm going to be talking about are echoed across the university. So let's get started. Just a quick overview for those of you who have been away from campus for a little bit. Northeastern is a global university. We're headquartered here in Boston, but we also have sites in Charlotte, Seattle, Silicon Valley, Toronto. There are going to be new sites coming in places like London and online. Today, my focus is mainly going to be on the Boston location, but please note that we do have co-ops and students in these other locations as well. Currently, Northeastern has over 18,000 undergraduate students and 8,000 graduate students across the 8 colleges and 5 campuses. So that's over 140 majors and concentrations. So the student population is drawn from all 50 states, which we're very proud of, as well as 131 countries around the world. We have a very diverse population here at Northeastern, with really different backgrounds and great things that they can bring to your company on co-op. So a little bit about co-op by the numbers. As you may remember, Northeastern was the second university in the country to begin a co-op program. And over the past 100 years, we've extended the co-op program, which started in engineering, across the entire university. There are both undergraduate, graduate, full-time and part-time students at Northeastern who are able to participate in co-op as long as they meet minimum eligibility requirements that are determined by their college. As you can see, Northeastern continues to pride itself on the cooperative education experience for students, and we're really happy that you're as alumni to help continue that legacy. Like I said, my experience is within the College of Engineering. We have over 550 students seeking jobs per term, both undergraduate and graduate, and 70% of our students participate in 3 co-ops, which is remarkable since co-op is not a requirement in the College of Engineering to graduate. We have 11 faculty co-op coordinators on the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering team with 3 support staff, and we really pride ourselves on working one-on-one with students to help them clarify their goals, find job objectives that are the right fit, and work with our employers to help make sure that we're finding the right of student interest and what the employer is looking for. This is not unique to the College of Engineering by any stretch. There are approximately 70 co-op coordinators across the university, all aiming for this goal of helping to connect students and employers. So what does this process look like? So, excuse my graphic, it's really hard to create a visual of co-op programs. This is the best I can do. Students are able to start their co-op experience in either the middle or their end of their sophomore year, so their second year here at Northeastern, after completing a required preparation class, which we'll speak about in a moment. They then alternate on 6 months of work and 6 months of classes, which gives them very little time for vacations or breaks. So, for example, if a student starts on spring 2020 co-op, they will then continue doing co-ops in the spring for the next 3 cycles and then graduate. So there's also the opportunity for graduate co-op, which is relatively new here at Northeastern. Due to the nature of the patterns of attendance for graduate students and the classes that they're taking, they have a lot more flexibility in their co-op schedules and are able to do 4, 6, or 8-month co-ops, as long as those co-ops don't span 2 major semesters. So what this means is that a student couldn't be on co-op for the fall of 2019 and the spring of 2020 when they come back to Northeastern and be a student in classes, so the registrar can keep them as a student here at Northeastern. So an 8-month co-op might look like something from January 2020 all the way through the end of August of 2020, or starting maybe in June, May or June, and going all the way through the end of December. So those are some of the ways that we can work with those 8-month co-ops. There are a range of degrees here at Northeastern that allow co-ops in their program. Data analytics, engineering, data science. The MBA program has co-ops. Mathematics, operational research. I'll let you read the rest of them off the slide, but all the big buzzwords that you're hearing in industry right now about data, we have co-ops who can help you with that, and they're doing great things on their co-ops. So as we can see by a couple of what their students are saying, the co-op program is a great platform for them to get experience that they can echo both from their classes and their prior experience and bring to your company the newest, most cutting edge, what's going on in the field, different softwares, etc. So what does preparation for co-op look like? So students, they will all meet with their co-op coordinator to define their career goals and objectives, and they have to take a required course taught by the co-op faculty. The first course in the College of Engineering is the Introduction to Co-op, and this is where we cover the basics of what you need to do in order to do a job well, how to write a professional resume, how to send a professional email. We remind them of all the things that your HR doesn't want to remind them of, like making sure that they shower before going into interviews, all those fun things. And this course is not, again, unique to the College of Engineering. Every college at Northeastern has a similar class where students are prepared for entering the workforce. The second course in the College of Engineering, which is somewhat unique to us, is the Professional Issues course. This is for students who are preparing to leave university, and we help them transition from being a co-op and a student into being a full-time working adult. So we cover things like personal finance. We go over a little bit of that, helping them figure out, what is a 401k? Why is it important that I contribute? We talk about salary negotiation and evaluating job offers, go over some of the benefits information that they'll need to become familiar with. And then we also go over things like how to be ethical. We talk about diversity and inclusion, microaggressions, and unconscious bias, just so that students are leaving Northeastern with a well-rounded picture of what it looks like to be in the workforce and how to really maximize that. So, this is what our students do in order to prepare. What about you, a co-op supervisor? Being a co-op supervisor is relatively easy. So there's not a lot of requirements that we have because we want you to really work with the student to figure out what's going to work for them in your work setting. So there are a couple things that we do require them. They need to set a defined learning outcomes at the beginning of their co-op and meet with their supervisor to review those, which we would hope that you'd be doing with them anyways. And then we hope that you will mentor and supervise the student throughout their time on co-op. At the end, we do ask for a written evaluation for the university of the student's time, and the student will also complete an evaluation for their co-op. So really not a lot of requirements there. We find that because of the 6-month time frame for undergrads, that our employers feel a high level of return on investment with their Northeastern co-ops, because while it may take 2 months, a month to 2 months for a student to really ramp up in a job, we then have 4 months of output at the undergraduate level. If you take the graduate level where they can do 8 months, you see 1 or 2 months of ramp up, and then you get 6 or 7 months of output for them. So it's a really excellent opportunity for not just the students, but also for your workplace. So with that, if you're ready to hire, that's awesome. You can either reach out to the college that you're interested in hiring from. So, if you're interested in accounting, I'm in the College of Engineering, don't really have many accountants for you, but you can either reach out to the DeMoore McKim School of Business, or if you want to reach out to me, I can help connect you to find the right person. Once you have a contact at Northeastern, we'll help guide you through the process and answer any questions that you might have about how to post, what a good job description looks like. We can help with things like salary. If you're not sure what a typical co-op gets paid nowadays, we have all of those averages that we can share with you, and writing a job description. If you are ready to hire, this is a conversation that I hope that you have with either management, HR, finance, whoever at your company needs to sign off on that, and get going. We are just starting to get the swing of things for spring 2020 co-op, so it's definitely not too late. You could also, if you want to bypass me or Northeastern contacts and just get one assigned to you, create an account on New Careers. The address is here, and post your role to a Northeastern contact, and we'll help you through that. And then interviewing. So once you've posted, gotten resumes, you're able to reach out to students on your own. We don't try to bottleneck the process in any form. The majority of our companies typically do one phone screen. Oops, there's a typo there. One phone screen and one in-person interview before making a decision, just because of the pace of the hiring process through a co-op. And then you hire, it's a great fit, everything works out, and your co-op starts, if you're looking for spring 2020, in January. So there are other opportunities to engage with Northeastern as well. If you're not ready to hire at this point, you could connect with groups and organizations. Through the College of Engineering, we have, I believe it's over 100 student groups and organizations who love having employers in on campus, really to get their brand out there, learn more about the students, and the students can learn more about your organization. Provide assistance in classrooms. So those two courses that I mentioned, a lot of us have panels where we bring in employers and alumni to talk about their experiences, or join industrial advisory boards across the university. There are capstone projects within a number of the colleges that you can get involved with, and then also engaging with career design. So Career Services has rebranded. They're now called Career Design and Employer Engagement, I believe, and they host a number of opportunities for you to get involved on campus for either co-op or full-time hiring, ranging from coffee chats to the career fair that just happened last week. So with that, does anyone have any questions?
Thanks, Rebecca. So for those of you who have questions, you can answer them. You can post them in the chat box. You can get into the chat box by clicking on the purple arrows on the right-hand corner and then clicking on that chat bubble. So I actually have a few questions for you, Rebecca, as people are typing in. What is kind of the typical salary for a co-op? What is kind of the financial expense that employers should really think about or try to put aside when hiring a co-op?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to tell you that it varies greatly depending on the college, the major, and the level that you're looking to hire. So for the College of Engineering within mechanical and industrial engineering, we typically see a first-time co-op in mechanical and industrial engineering for around $18 an hour, give or take. And then it just, increases with experience and depending on what is competitive also in your industry. I hope you can all tell that based on how short this presentation was, how easy it is to become a co-op employer. Details on Capstone. Yes. So I'm not the Capstone representative, but Capstone in the College of Engineering is a cumulative project that students work on throughout their last year here at Northeastern. So this is the picture showing a group doing their capstone project. They often have employer sponsors. So if you have a problem or an obstacle that you're looking to overcome, or a project that is something that's on the back burner that students would be able to work through, they do a great job of helping to overcome some of those barriers. So in the past, we've had students work on projects for example, NASA JPL, helping them design different components for different things that they're working on. We've had students redesign manufacturing floors to help the increase efficiency, etc. So if you are interested in Capstone, again, shoot me an email and I can get you involved with the people who run Capstone. Did I hear correctly? No. Did I hear correctly that there are no civil engineering graduate level co-ops? I am unsure if there are graduate level civil engineering co-ops. I believe that there are. I just don't think that the population is that large. But if you want to, again, shoot me an email, I can connect you with Jess Ormsby over in our civil engineering group, and she can give you all the details there. Please repeat the timing for spring co-ops. So a spring 6-month co-op would range from January through the end of June. We're currently in the process of hiring for all the spring co-ops. So students applied for their first round of applications that was due this Monday. So we just got started there. Okay, there we go. Based in Ohio and have a co-op program for mechanical industrial. Are there ever opportunities to have summer co-ops? So summer co-ops is something that we are working on here in the College of Engineering. We're hearing a lot of people outside of the New England area, so you're based in Ohio, don't have opportunities for our typical 6 months and would prefer something like a 4-month summer co-op. So it's something that we are working on, especially with our out-of-state employers and the registrar. So we just had a meeting with the registrar yesterday to help establish what they call a pattern of attendance for summer so that we can get students registered into their 0 credit course so they stay enrolled as students at the university. So yes, that is coming. Or you could also hire for graduate co-ops because they do have the 4-month option and they can do 4 months summer.
While people are typing, can you explain a little bit more about the required co-op course that students have to take? What are kind of the major requirements on that, just so people kind of have an understanding that these students have kind of a more knowledge than the typical intern coming in?
Definitely. So if you just give me 1 second, I will pull up the syllabus for that course and walk you through what the students are doing in that course right now. So the course is a 1 credit course. It meets once a week for 100 minutes in the College of Engineering. And like I said, it really goes over everything to prep students for co-op. So in the first week, we go over how to write a strong resume, how to search for jobs outside of New Careers, which is our online-based platform. So they're finding opportunities, not just the ones that we've developed relationships with, but also opportunities across the country and across the globe. In the second week, we go over expectations for a co-op search. So what that looks like for a student, the expectations we have of them and employers have of them, what their expectations of their co-op coordinator can be, and what their expectations from an employer would be. We go over some ways that they can search for co-ops. We do a resume building activity and interviewing introductions. So an overview of what interviewing looks like, what a phone screen is, what a behavioral interview is, what a technical interview is, and then help them start doing their tell me about themselves. So that nice interview question of, tell me a little bit about yourself, or why are you interested in mechanical engineering, helping them craft their story about why they're interested and who they are. That's also a assignment that they have to complete and then bring into the next class, where we use that for a mock interviewing activity. This activity is a round robin activity where students first give their answer to their tell me about themselves, and then their classmates vote in groups on whose tell me about themselves was the best, and they move into kind of a panel interview game where they're asked a series of questions that we've chosen from behavioral based to a couple of silly technical questions, like if you were an animal, what would you be and why, just to throw them off their game a little bit, and help them prepare for those types of questions when they're in their interviewing. So we go over some of the logistics, etc., how to write professional web references. Then they do mock interviews with the upper class students. We have an employer panel that was just this last week. We go over professional communication with employers, emails, thank you notes, offers, how to respond to offers. Then we continue on to go over motivation and work values and fixed and growth mindset. So helping them make sure that they have a growth mindset while they're on co-op. If you haven't watched the video from Dr. Bose about mindset, I highly recommend it. There's a really short clip at the end. It's talking about how, what you get out of an opportunity is how you look at it. We go over online reputation and LinkedIn. That's always a fun class. Have the students Google themselves, see what they could find, see what you can find, and talk about privacy settings on social media. We have a student panel for upper class students who have gone through the co-op process before to talk to the students who are going out on their first co-op, help ease some of their fears. And then we go over professional work behaviors, Title IX, and mindfulness in the workplace. So it's a very full semester for them. Okay. You mentioned rounds. Is there a rolling schedule published online for specific dates? When to create postings, the dates for round 1, 2, etc. So this is not published online. So I say rounds loosely. We don't have set rounds. We have a date at which we recommend that employers start looking at resumes, and that was this past Monday, and that we recommend our students apply for their first quote-unquote round of resumes. It is a rolling application, so students could apply back in September as long as they were approved, and we had some students who started interviewing back then, and we go all the way through the end of the semester and even through the winter holidays. So there's no set rounds. At any point you could post a position and get that filled.
Okay, I see someone else is typing in there. Oh, we just got the question. Is the timing of a student's approval a reflection of their organization and preparedness?
No. So our upper class students are approved as soon as they roll over cycles with the registrar. So that's our second and third time co-op students. Our first time students are required to meet with their co-op coordinator. And so just based on scheduling is when they get approved. We don't get assigned our first time students until about the second week in September. So you won't see first time students applying before then.
Another question, do students get to review or send feedback to you about their co-op experience?
Yep. So during co-op, students have to complete a series of reflections about things that are going on in their co-op. And then after co-op, they complete an evaluation that we all go through, and we sit down and meet with them about, especially if there's any, red flags. They've decided that they no longer want to be an engineer and they want to go into political science, things like that. Just talking to them about how this change occurred, what prompted that, and making sure that they're having an open dialogue with somebody about that. The law school wasn't listed in your list of graduate co-ops. Does it do things differently? So that was just an example of graduate co-ops. That is not by any stretch an exhaustive list of graduate programs that have co-op. The law school does do co-op, but they do function a little bit differently just based on the L1, L2, L3 years, and I am not knowledgeable enough to speak to that.
Okay, we're going to do a last round of questions, but as people are typing in, do you want to share a co-op success story, or was there one recently that an alum?
So many. Those are my favorite. So who should we talk about? Yeah, I would say one of the most recent ones that comes to mind is I had a student who is an industrial engineer, and she originally went into work thinking about doing things like efficiency work, manufacturing, laying out manufacturing floors, etc. And it was something that she was really passionate about theoretically, but going into her co-op afterwards decided that's not where she wanted to go. So we worked together to figure out how she could transition her skills in IE and her passion for social media and marketing into a role. And we found her some roles in marketing operations. So taking all of that marketing data, analyzing it, making sure that the social media campaigns, et cetera, that she was working on were going efficiently and they were maximizing their return on investment there. And she did 2 successful co-ops in that and just started a full-time role from one of her co-op employers. So it was very exciting to hear about. We've also had a number of students who have worked on co-ops and are in the process of getting patents because of things and like on their team. So students have been actively involved in those, presenting at conferences. I was down in Florida 2 years ago and got to see the SpaceX launch, and which was really cool because a couple of my co-op students had worked on parts for that launch. So being able to see it successfully launch was really cool. Yeah, so I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of co-op success stories.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Rebecca. This has been incredibly helpful and a fantastic resource for our alumni community. This whole webinar has been recorded, and we will upload that to our YouTube channel. And thank you all for your questions and for your interest in hiring a co-op from Northeastern for your employer.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in.
Thank you again, Rebecca. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.